Hey, what's up, everybody? This week I've got the distinct pleasure of having Trevor Stringer, my friend, from the Detail Lab into the Table of Truth to chop it up. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship, overcoming adversity, growing up with entrepreneur parents, fighting and scrapping and clawing, hating authority, and getting where you got to get if you are an entrepreneur with goals. We're going to talk about detailing high-end automobiles and rubbing elbows with the movers and shakers in Dallas-Fort Worth, as well as Trevor's experience in the fitness industry. Hope you enjoy. We're live now. Trevor, thanks for coming on, man. Trevor Stringer.
Pumped.
I am too, man.
Pumped.
We've known each other for like 2-3 years.
2 years? Yeah, well, actually 3 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks to Mike.
Yeah. Baby dick.
Yeah, that's right.
You can say that on here.
Oh, I'm sure we'll get into it.
This is full-fledged. However much you cuss, I'll reciprocate.
Sweet. Well,
I'm a true salesman, so
yeah.
I like to read and react.
I'm a true Leo, so whatever you've read up on that horoscope, that is
Leo.
exactly what I am.
I'm a straight white guy, so I haven't read a horoscope in a while.
I just ask Alexa every morning. I'm like, tell me what my future is today.
I gotcha. Maybe I should do more of that. I don't.
It's also the NSA listening in on my breakfast.
The NSA listen. Yeah, they listen. They can see everything you're doing.
That's right.
Where'd you grow up?
Lubbock, Texas.
All right.
West Texas. 250,000 people, I think, is the time when I was around there. I left out of there in
the Llano Estacado.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look at that.
I was a Monterey Plainsman there.
That's where you went to high school?
Yep. We were 4-time state champions. Not with me. We got there our last year seniors, but
couldn't close the deal.
We just didn't have it.
You carry that regret with you to this day?
I'm not a high school hero. I'm
good.
Yeah, that shit gets on my nerves.
Gets on mine big time.
I've got some friends that are like, dude, when are you coming back home? I'm like, why would I come back home? Like, I just don't get that.
To go to tech games, man.
Like, no, I'm good on that.
What was high school like?
So, kind of, if we want to rewind a little bit further.
Do what you want. You always do anyways.
Yeah, that's right. School, before high school was like extremely difficult for me. So like at a lot of points, like if it wasn't for baseball and sports, like I probably really wouldn't have done much of high school.
Gotcha.
I would have probably done something different because school for me growing up was like extremely, extremely difficult. Like I think a lot of that kind of has got me where I am today because of those experiences and the things I kind of went through school and through baseball, really. So
you just didn't like just the concept of it and studying and listening to teachers and all that kind of stuff?
I would. No, I really had a terrible learning disability when I was growing up. I can remember vividly like 3rd or 4th grade. You know, like when you start taking like the TOS test or, all those kind of things. Like I can just remember sitting there and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm looking at, and I just circle things. And that kind of continued on and I kind of just got through like 4th, 5th grade that way. And then I remember, in like really 5th grade, I'm like, dude, I can't read. And like I started kind of getting involved with like, they would put me in the special ed classes.
Yeah.
But like I functioned highly with everybody else. So like after school, I played baseball growing up and everything like that. T-ball, I was always like the hardest throwing kid. And it like kind of fucked me up for a long time.
Really?
Honestly. Oh yeah.
That was like your first taste of adversity?
Oh, yeah. Like, I can remember, like, my dad, in 4th grade, we started listening to Les Brown motivational tapes.
Okay.
So, like,
wow.
Yeah, it was, like, it was a total godsend for me because, like, I'd listened to him. I've gone and seen him in person now. Like, so that was, like, that was 4th grade.
Was your dad having you listen to those for you, or was he listening to them for himself?
I think it was more so for him because my dad's a really high-level real estate.
Gotcha.
At one point, he was like the #1 real estate guy in Texas.
So you've watched a high-achieving entrepreneur operate since you were a small child.
Yeah, my mom and my dad are both entrepreneurs.
Wow, that's awesome.
So like, to this day, I've never seen my dad take a day off. Or like besides like go to like baseball games and stuff like that for me. But like even then it's like he goes to work, does real estate stuff, game, and like me now
taking calls on Christmas Day, like, getting deals closed.
Well, there's been some times like when I'd be like leaving the gym, like this back when I was personally training, but like when I'd leave the gym and I'd drive by like either a soccer field, a baseball field, and I'm like, how the fuck did my parents do this? Like they spent a whole day and then had to deal with my dumb ass for after school stuff, and then we went to do baseball, and then they paid for all that, and then they've got to get up and go to work all day, and then like I'm just like, dude, holy shit, how blessed am I?
Yeah, aren't you looking forward to having kids so you can do that?
Yeah, like no, I'm good on that. I'm good on that.
The sports thing kept you engaged, or else you would have just been like, man, this isn't going to work for me. Because you're up against just not having success and
I had
being
no
a
outlet.
struggle.
Yeah. I mean, like when the school that like kind of everything like kind of started for me was this Preston Smith. It was an elementary school, and like to the teachers' benefits, they really didn't have any type of clue how to deal with a kid like me. Because like I mean, it's literally like I'd say it like this is. Remember on Charlie Brown, that when the teacher talks, it's like, wah, wah, wah. Like, I can hear you and understand you the first half of your sentence. The whole middle part's gone, and I know the second half.
Gotcha.
So, like, that was a huge struggle for me. And so, like, when I'm trying to do this work at school, they're just like, they would either get put off with me because they get tired of doing the teacher-parent meeting. And, you know, we would meet with the principal. We'd try to come up with new, like, lesson plans for me. We'll start letting him come home with the teacher book. Or like, hey, let's go put him in. And then for the longest time, we got to the point where it's just like, you can go to the class with everybody else. And this is what sucked for me. I'd go homeroom, go to the class with everybody else in my class. We'd sit down, bullshit for a second, get my work, go to the special ed room, and then repeat. So like when we were out at recess, like, Trevor, where do you go? Like, well, I have to do class with one-on-one with a person. Like that's the only way I could do it.
Yeah.
And
did that fuck with your self-confidence?
Oh, huge. I mean, because like I was told, you know, I'm dumb. You know, it's like you just get used to like hearing this stuff all the time. And so I like kind of, I think, and I told you about this the other night at dinner, like, I can compartmentalize that stuff now. At the time, I didn't know I was doing it.
Right.
But I'm like, David Goggins calls it putting it in his cookie jar.
Yeah.
Like I was just storing that shit for later, you know, like. And when I figured out that I was like pretty good at baseball, dude, I just unleashed the fucking mayhem on them, you know. Like that was my favorite outlet.
Yeah.
Because especially when it was like a crosstown rival, like the kid at my school that talked shit to me all day, I'm like, please step into my office.
It's on.
Yeah. Like I love that.
Were you throwing high at that guy?
Well, if
here and there,
Peter, if you're ever listening, I hope you remember that one in your leg.
What's up, Peter? How's it going, buddy? He's not sorry about it. I'm telling you right now.
That's right.
So I've always found that my favorite times and my favorite memories growing up were the times spending with my buddies. So whether it was, Boy Scout trips or team sports or whatever, and I always came out of those, and I didn't know this at the time, but I came out of those feeling better about myself and stronger and more positive about life. Then when you become an adult, you're like, oh, it's very important to have a tribe around you that maybe they don't co-sign off on all your bullshit if you need to step it up, but they got your back. When you are in school hating life and then you find baseball, what did that whole team just environment do for you as a person?
Well, I think that's kind of like that brought the leader really out of me.
Gotcha.
And me growing up, you know, I was always the more outspoken one, kind of like similar to what you've said about yourself. Like I was always the one that kind of talked back at coach or like, well, you don't care about us, you know.
Stood up for the team.
Yeah, I would be the one.
Nice.
I'm the guy that was always out front, and like, you know, where it was like, and I was always the one that was a little bit out front of everybody else, especially growing up. So I mean, like the team aspect, it really brought like the leadership qualities out of me, and then it kind of made me care more for people because like I'm a people pleaser. I want to make sure everybody's happy, and like I was kind of the grunt force guy of the teams of like, if there's a problem, you go talk to Trevor, and Trevor's going to try to figure it out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, having the...
which is a good thing and a bad thing.
Well, yeah, but having like the team chairman who goes and runs interference with the coach,
right?
That guy's got to have a special makeup.
Yeah.
You know, and that probably a lot of that was because by then you didn't give a fuck because you were already like, hey, man, these people have already made me feel like I was stupid.
Yep.
Life's already been hard for me. I'm not really that afraid of much. And I mean, we all have fears,
right,
obviously. But plus, you know, watching your dad just blaze his own trail and your mom blaze her own trail, that has an effect on kids. People don't realize that.
No, and I don't think you really realize that until later on in life, because I really didn't realize that till, I mean, I don't think you really, as a man, really figure out till you're like 27, 28, almost 30, like what your traits are, what your patterns are in life, you know, if you pay attention to your life, you know, because that's kind of when I kind of figured it all out for myself.
Yeah.
But, man, the team aspect for me was huge because it gave me an outlet for all that, not really anxiety, but just all the anger that I had.
Sure.
Because, like, I didn't know. I mean, because there's points, like, you know, I'd get home from school and, like, I didn't understand anything the whole day. You know, been getting bullied or something like that. And I just literally, there'd be times in the car I'd, like, yell out at God, like, why the fuck did you do this to me? Why am I dumb? And I got to use all that towards baseball, dude. I would like, the mental aspect of it was so good for me because I could just, like, I would daydream or, like, dream about what my game was going to be like the next day, and then I would just go act it out. It was already there.
Man, I'm surprised a wrestling coach didn't get his hands on you, man.
Well, I wanted to play football. I really did.
Yeah.
But I always had a shoulder issue growing up. So, like, they were like, dude, if you go play football and you're a quarterback or something like that, your shoulder will be easily dislocated. So, and I fought shoulder injuries pitching in college all the time. So,
hey, we got a lot in common, man.
Yeah.
I got like 4 shoulder reconstruction. I got so much Kevlar in my shoulder.
It's the worst.
And other
Shoulders
substances.
And backs.
Yeah.
Shoulders and backs.
Man, I'm telling you, man, injuries are just when Dak went down on Sunday, man, I was just like, God.
Yeah.
Man. I could like feel his pain, you know, because
and then the memes come out and it's even worse.
I know. I felt bad about. He's such a good dude, man, and like, even this off season losing his brother and stuff, and he's already lost his mom, and so you're tearing it up in high school. Did you have scouts looking at you to play at the college level?
So when we were in high school, it's pretty much like my buddy Chad that like I think we started playing together and like we were like 13. Like whatever you start doing like select baseball, like where you can start wearing metal cleats.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a big step.
A big step.
Yeah.
You know, I think you're pitching from 65 feet at that point. So I think whenever that point comes in, I think you're 13 or around there. So I always played with this guy Chad, which he played in the pros. I think he just retired last year.
Oh wow.
Dude is a freak. Like he's that one kid that like he didn't do sleepovers, you know, he didn't go out late, you know, he went to practice after practice, you know, like straight edge kid like when we were you know, when we were little and when we were in high school.
Right.
But, like, he threw fucking 98. Like, you know, like
wow.
You can't argue with it, and like sometimes you're like, fuck, what if I would have done it like that?
Yeah.
You know, like but
just no trash can punch, and maybe you'd have made it to the majors, man.
So he was our number 1 and I was our number 2. So I mean, he was getting looked at by everybody. I mean, we had Yankee scouts, White Sox.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, like Houston was after him really hardcore. I mean, he got to go throw for Nolan Ryan personally. So like we had some scouts. So like at the time I didn't know it, but like, you know, if he's pitching game 1, I'm pitching game 2. They hang out, and like I didn't think about it. I'm just out there because at the time it's another adversity thing for me because newspapers around town, Chad Bettis number 1, Monterey. It's just like, oh, so I guess I'm nobody. Again.
Cookie jar.
Right. Yeah. So it's just like, please.
Yeah.
You know, so it was a good thing too. So, but I think he played almost 10 years in the pros.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah. It's pretty
Are
crazy.
you going to detail any of his vehicles?
Right. I reached out to him after he retired, and I was like, man, that's pretty awesome. You made it this far. It's super cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I'm sure you wanted to play in college.
Yeah.
So you graduate high school. Did you, by the time you graduated high school, did you kind of have the learning thing down? Had you turned a corner there?
I had turned a corner like really like I think like 7th, 8th, 9th grade, around there. Like I'd done like a ton of summer school, and like I'm doing everything I can pretty much to get through courses.
Yeah.
And then like when we were thinking about doing the college thing, like my junior year, I got lucky, and a scout saw me, and I got to go throw for the Mets one time and the Angels one time. So that was kind of cool.
Definitely.
But when I was like thinking about like colleges and stuff like that, I'm like, I don't know where I want to go. And at the time, dude, at this time that all this is going on, I'm distracted as fuck.
By what?
You know, this thing called pussy. You know, like, dude, it was like so terrible. Because like in high school, man, it's like, I was the cool kid.
Focus, bro.
Exactly. I was a cool kid. It's like, let's go over to Stringer's house. He's got the house parties, da-da-da-da. So, like, I was so distracted in high school. And here we have Chad, straight edges motherfucker, throwing 98, and I'm over here, like, 88. What if I could have been there? You know, but, yeah.
We pay our dues one way or the other,
yeah.
I guess. So when you graduate from high school, you go to college. You're playing ball in college.
Yep.
What are you studying in college?
Kinesiology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
When I was in high school, junior year, I met a strength coach up at Texas Tech, and that kind of just opened the door for me. I was like, oh, if baseball's not there, like, this is awesome. Because I had with all the stuff going on with school, my mom found me a personal trainer when I was in like 6th grade. So I started personal training when I was in like 6th grade.
Really?
And it was awesome.
That is.
Like, this guy, Gabe, he was badass. We do like all this speed and agility stuff. So like at that point, there ain't no other kids like doing anything extra.
Not then, no.
So like I really excelled at that point. Like I was throwing way harder than everybody else. And like that's like when I started doing that, it was like an outlet for a lot of things, because Gabe also taught me a lot of like mental toughness things.
That's cool.
Like especially like when the weight was getting hard, or like when I wanted to quit or something, you know, he'd be like, dude, you know, think about something else, or like use whatever went on today in this. And so I kind of started implementing that more and more and more. And then, you know, all the Les Brown tapes. I mean, I've probably listened to everything the man's ever
You have
preached.
them memorized now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got this is one of his favorite quotes, blessed and highly favored.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so, that is.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Got the ink going, man.
Yeah.
Got the bold ink on the top and bottom of your forearms.
Mom did not like that.
I'm too shy. I hide mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet she didn't.
Yeah.
But what are you going to do, man? No one's telling you what to do.
Not anymore.
The college experience, especially studying something that you were excited about and playing ball.
Yep.
Was it hard for you to stay engaged, or were you like, no, let's do this. Let's knock this out?
So I went to 2 Christian schools.
Yeah.
And it was probably literally the best thing that it could have ever happened for me educational-wise. Just because at those schools, you know, it's a lot smaller classroom environment. You know,
sure.
You're not at a D1 class where it's, hey, in your English class, you have 500 students and you're a serial number.
Right.
No, like here, I was like, I think my biggest class ever was 32 people.
Okay.
So like I needed the one-on-one. I mean, I still struggled with math. I'm always terrible with math. And if you ever follow me on Facebook, I can't fucking spell to save my life.
That's what spell check's for, bro.
Oh, dude, but if you're so bad, your spell check gets wrong. Like
you got to do talk to text like I do.
I do that a lot when I'm driving. Yeah.
New line, new line. If
Yeah.
you say new line, it'll do a new line, then a new line.
Perfect.
It's awesome. Well, you don't have an iPhone though. Might not do that on there.
I got the Droid.
Always so counterculture. Always with you. It's everything is so counterculture. When was it in college, or was it another time when like the entrepreneurial kind of spark started to ignite within you? Because obviously, right, so I know that you personal trained for a long time. Mm-hmm. Was it working with Gabe, meeting the Texas Tech strength and conditioning coach, doing kinesiology in college that kind of like you're kind of putting 2 and 2 together, like maybe I could do my own type thing here? Or was it just a lot of your personality of I better figure out what I can do on my own because I can't work for anyone?
That was a lot of it, because I'd always had this fucking pushback thing with my coaches and authority and like bosses that I had. and like that's why me and Mike didn't get along, because I'm the alpha in the room. You're not. Like especially when you're in there when you're out working that other person, like I don't want to hear about your sob story.
Well, I texted Mike and he's coming at the end of the show to give you a hug.
Yes.
So
let's make up. Mike.
Okay. Yeah. So you're like, man, I got to do something, but obviously you've been watching your parents blaze their own trail.
So I have a funny story.
Fire it up.
So in high school, everybody's got those odd jobs and stuff. Okay, so like, and this is where the detailing kicked off too. So
sweet.
In my town, the cool thing to do, like during the summer, is either you mowed yards, which your parents usually set that up for you, or a couple of guys, like the rich parents, they would go buy them wash rigs and they go out and detail cars all day. So like I had a couple of older buddies. I always kind of ran with the older crowd. And I had 2 older buddies that they had wash rigs, and we'd go out and wash cars all day, $40 a pop, $50 a pop. And,
wow.
And you're making money, and, all your friends aren't. So I really loved making money. And, like, I'd, like, beg my dad for, like, a summer job, or, like, for me to, like, have a job during the school year. He's like, no, baseball. Because he knew that was my only way I was going to get into college. So I was so resentful growing up because I wanted to fucking make money and have a job. And like, I always had to wait. And like, you get $150 a week allowance. It's just like, fuck, everybody else has got like $500. They're making money mowing yards and stuff. And I'm like, so when I was,
plus you want to be like your dad. He's out making his own way.
Right.
He doesn't even realize that he had inspired you, but he was cutting you off at the knees.
In the worst ways, man. I mean, he's what started my car addiction and everything else. He's bad influence. But the funny part of the entrepreneur thing is, like, I had this idea that I'm going to make these wristbands.
Okay. Like the Lance Armstrong wristbands?
Kinda, but do you remember, like, the I Love Boobies wristbands when those were real big?
No, man. I'm a Christian, dude. That offends me.
But do you remember those?
Yeah.
They were like $5 a wristband.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that for the Susan G. Komen thing?
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
So I had the idea, me being a high testosterone teen.
One of those.
Yep, of course. I'm like, I'm going to make my own wristbands with my own letters on it. Let's make it GYDS. It means get your dick sucked. And I don't know
very politically correct.
For sure.
Totally.
Parents love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I bet they did.
So I went out. I made like 1,000 wristbands.
Oh man.
Yeah. And I sold all of the wristbands.
Wow.
Yeah. It got weird for a long time because I'd be at like college parties, like different colleges, and they would have these wristbands on. I'd be like, "Where'd you get that wristband?" So it was really weird. So like that's kind of what started it. So I was like, well, if I can make money doing that.
Wow, you're an influencer even then, man.
Dude,
that's awesome.
So weird. But yeah, I mean, there's some people that still have them, and they'll
really
message me every now and then. Like I was so into it. I was like, I'm gonna make shirts. Like, yeah.
What ended that?
Thinking it wasn't such a good idea to be, but
right.
Hey, weird shit makes money.
That's man, just think about the Snuggie.
Oh, yeah.
Anything, man. I mean, GYDS.
Yep.
Bracelet. Wow, that's blowing my mind, man. 1,000 of them. That's awesome. You're getting it cranked up in college. Were you thinking all through college about like what's my next step, or were you just kind of living in the moment?
I was living a lot in the moment, but a lot of it was dude, like, I mean, my freshman year, I was like hell bent on baseball. Like, I still had because my high school coach, dude, like, he's probably what made more of my mental toughness than anything. All the aspects of the school stuff I used in baseball every single day. That was my fuel tank. And, but he would pile on it more because, dude, like, he was an asshole. Like, why are you late? And he would always set these weird times, like not 4:15, 4:17.
Do you send him a Christmas card every year?
I actually, when I finished my final college game, I called him up and I was like talking to him and I was just like, dude, thank you so much for being.
That's cool.
Yeah, but that
probably made his day. Actually,
I'm sure. But Fred Oliver.
Yeah, we got a Pete and a Fred shout out already, and a Chad shout out.
He had over 800 high school wins. That's a big deal.
No doubt.
That's a big deal.
Wow.
But he was an asshole coach, and like he was really hard nosed about like rules and just like respect and ethics and You know, being on time, staying late, and working hard.
Man, it's the little things that, I mean, as we know now, right. It's those little things, those little habits, those little systems and processes you set up for yourself.
Oh yeah,
that make all the difference.
Absolutely,
even down to getting out of your bed before the sun comes up and making your bed, like Derek said last week in the last podcast. He was a Marine. He's talking about that. You get that discipline down, you're already a step ahead of the competition.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. He used to do this thing with us on Fridays, like after weights and everything. It's pretty much just a bunch of bleacher exercises. It's just who's going to give up first.
Right.
And he would do this thing after we would do a big, long workout on the bleachers, probably 15, 20 minutes of like sprints and jumps and one-legged stuff and individual things. You all get down at the very bottom level. You do hands on your head. You get down in squat position, pretty much where your elbows are almost touching your knees. And on the whistle, you jump up to the next one, and then you have to stay with your head on your elbows and your elbows touching your knees the entire rest of the time.
That sounds like a challenge, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty, because especially you've just, done a whole 2-hour-long workout, your legs are spent, and now you're having to hold a squat position until the whistle blows.
Yeah, and this is Texas. We're not talking about Malibu, California here, dude, with the sea
97
breeze
coming off of the metal, the aluminum, it's
man, brutal.
Oh yeah.
The having that instilled in you, the discipline to eat right, sleep right, train right. Yeah, you lived it up a little bit here and there, but having that discipline moving forward, that discipline that got you, playing in college and that had you excelling in high school, was that something that you were able to kind of take with you? And whenever you've gotten maybe stuck in life, you've been like, all right, back to square one. I got to get back to these basics because these basics are what I know are my building blocks.
Yeah. Well, I think, where I kind of just like I said, like when I turned like 27, it, like my eyes kind of opened up to like what was going on with my business, because like I kind of realized like, why do I every 3 years or like why do I have these stints of like where I get in an argument with my boss, or like why do I have these things like against authority, and then like I'll go out on my own, and then like I'll have another bout of authority thing, then I'll go out on my own, and then like I'm seeing these things, I'm like, why don't I just do it all myself? And like, so that's what I was kind of going through, like finished college, graduated 3.57, which
nice.
I had a ton of teachers. And this is something really super cool that my mom did, like big middle finger to these bitches. When I graduated high school and college, my mom sent pretty much like my certificate and everything to the teachers that said that I would never graduate college or high school.
All your teachers like growing up?
Oh yeah, so we sent those out to them. So that was nice.
Sent them your college diploma.
Yeah, boy.
That's keeping it real, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, my mom's fired up. She was fired up.
Good for your mom.
Yeah.
What businesses was she in when you were growing up?
So she started her own. So my dad did all the real estate, so he would sell the houses. At the time it was Johnny Stringer Realtors, and he would build them. He was doing custom homes and stuff like that. Oh wow. And he was doing them in like really high end country club like areas. So like he would build out a whole subdivision.
So he was like a developer.
Yeah. So he was doing it. He was doing some numbers. And my mom was doing all the interior design of them. And then she also, because of that, also she got to do other people's homes.
Sure.
So she was really big into it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think she's 65 now.
Yeah.
She's still up on a ladder every day. My dad's like 73, still at the office every single day.
Getting after it.
I want to be able to make enough money where I can pay off all their debt and then move them here, have a plot of land where they stay on their side. This is my side.
On your side.
Yeah. You can come over, but like we're in shouting distance.
They might not be able to sit still, man. Like ambitious people can't stop sometimes.
My dad can't sit still ever.
They're just out there churning and going and looking for something to kill. That's how people like that are. When you got out of college, what was your first job?
So my dad gave me 6 months to find a job. And at the time, I'm like, dude, all I want to do is train. All I want to do is like train. And so I was training some people in my hometown. And like I liked it because I've always been like really good coaching people. And because I knew the struggle of like how people had to coach me and teach me, it was really easy for me to have I guess, what's the right word? Like patience, like the patience.
Empathy.
Yeah. Because like I watch some parents parent, and I'm like, why are you getting mad? I'm just like, give them a little bit, a little bit more, like, because that's me.
Yeah.
I see it. And so like that's why I'm kind of successful now, is because I've been able to teach other kids like, hey, you can do this just like I have, and like taught other grownups like, hey, you can get into this detailing business too. But my dad gave me about 6 to 7 months to find a job. I land this job in corporate America in Allen, Texas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, at Lifetime Fitness, working for this guy Matthew Heinrich. Shout out Matthew Heinrich. And yeah,
that's a big Lifetime over there on Sam Rayburn, man.
14,000 members at the time I was there. Yeah, it's crazy,
man.
And I learned really fast that I don't like corporate America.
Yeah, that seems to be a common theme.
Mm-hmm.
What wore you out,
dude? The aspect of like, I'm the high school kid that never made myself cool or popular, and now I get to be the boss, and now I get to put you underneath my thumb because you're the cool kid that was cool in high school. Like, that's the way I always felt with like this dude. Like, it was like he knew that I had leadership qualities, that certain people on the team thought the way that I thought, and
they gravitate toward you.
Yeah, and so like, and I knew that like I'm slightly manipulative, towards people, and I can talk a certain way, and like, he just got underneath my skin like really from the get go, because like I'm the type of like, I will run through a fucking brick wall for you. Like, if you're the dude and you're gonna take me there, I will go the distance with you, straight up. And like, so when I started there, I was like all about it, dude. I'm fucking reading every single training book. I'm trying to be the best fucking trainer on the planet. And I literally hadn't gone home for like 6 months straight. And it's Thanksgiving. And like, of course, I'm the rookie on the team. I know I'm going to have to stay, da-da-da-da-da. I know. And so I go in there one morning, and he's like, and I talked with him day 4. I was like, hey, I want to cut out early so I can, I can go. I have enough time to go to Lubbock and spend time with my family, and then I'm going to spend the weekend there. He's like, no, I got to have you the next day. So I'm like, dude, it's a 6-hour drive there. I'm going to spend, 4 hours, and then I have to drive back? Well, I'm like, yeah, you can't do it. He's like, you're just going to have to be here. So that morning I show up to Lifetime, and I'm like, I wear everything on my face. Like, you either know if I'm happy or
you're not good at hiding it.
No. And so I go in there, and he's like, hey, man, do you want to talk? And I'm like, no, dude, I'm getting ready to set up for a boot camp. And at the time, on these days of, they call it like the turkey trot, or like the turkey day at the gym, I had a 90-person boot camp that I'm about to teach.
Wow.
And I'm like, at the time, I think I'm 25. I'm like, I fucking got this, whatever. Because I'd done it at Tech. I taught the athletic teams, basketball, soccer, baseball. I was cool. So I'm like mentally trying to get ready, and I'm like 10 minutes out. So like I usually if I'm like 10 to 15 minutes out from doing a group, like I want to have it all there. So everybody gets there. I'm there. I'm ready to rock. And he's like fucking with me, and he's like, come on, man, just come in my office. We'll talk. You say whatever you need to say.
Why does everybody always want to talk, man?
Oh, so I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like literally 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I have my back against like the dividing of the wall.
Like the door jam?
The door jam. And he's like, come on, man, we'll have a name. I'll never forget this. We'll have a name tag off conversation. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, you can say whatever you want. If you're going to tell me to fuck off.
Oh, it's off the record?
Off the record. So I'm like, I go, Matthew, if I take another step into your office, I'm going to beat your fucking ass. I was like, I don't want to be here. I was like, you're taking me away from my family. I was like, I want to be in Lubbock. I go, now I have nowhere to eat Thanksgiving because of you. I was like, I'm going to go do this boot camp, and then I'm fucking leaving. And so I leave, and I go do the boot camp. Everybody loves it. It's amazing. I had it on both basketball courts. Like, you could see it from upstairs. It was sick. Get done. I leave for the day. Come to work the following day. Walk in the building. I have this email, and it's from the general manager of the building. Trevor, we'd like to have a meeting with you. So I go down there, and it's her and Matthew sitting on like her, like if you're her and Matthew sitting right there, and I have to sit down right here. And she's like, so Matthew reported you. And I'm like, what? For what? And he's like, well, do you remember yesterday when you told me to fuck off? And I was like, yeah, I remember when you told me yesterday it was a name tag off conversation. And like we went back and forth on it, and like they wrote me up in there, like you have 2 more strikes and you're out.
Ooh.
I was like, oh shit. And that's when I realized it's like, fuck everyone here.
No
like
doubt.
they don't care about you.
Hell no.
They don't care about how much money you make for them or for whatever. Because that was actually the second time I got in trouble with him, because the first time I got in trouble because I had upsold somebody on a rate that I wasn't eligible to sell yet. Because when you come in there,
you didn't have that authority.
Yeah, so when you come in there, you can start
Sure.
selling at $64 a training session, and I sold somebody at the max rate of 110.
Oh no!
And he's like, "Why'd
an
you do that?"
overachiever.
He's just like, "Why'd you do that?" It's like, I just made you more money. It's like the percentage works in your favor. And I was just like,
it's all power trip
dude,
stuff, man.
Huge power trips.
It's so ridiculous.
It was just like, so I spent 3.5 years there, and I was just like, I can't take this anymore. Because my third year, I got sponsored because I was always going to like these conferences and like trying to become a name in this industry.
Sure.
And so I went to this one conference, met all these amazing scientists that like turned me on to like so much more amazing stuff in nutrition and training aspects and just
biomechanics and stuff
everything.
like that.
Yeah. I mean, like the real guys that are writing the real textbooks.
Gotcha.
You know, like so I'd sought these guys out, and I meet the guy that is the chief science officer of Dymatize, which Dymatize is here in Dallas.
Yeah, it's big.
Huge. So I become friends with him. We work out together in Dallas, and he offers me a chance to be like a sponsored athlete through them.
Oh, nice.
So like pretty much what that meant for me is like I'm not big and like, you know, I don't have like the huge muscles like the rest of those guys like that they usually employ. My aspect was like I wanted to be more on the science side, you know, the trainer aspect side of it. And so like they were cool with that. So I got to go to like a lot of conferences and like events with them. Got to meet a lot of really cool people. And that's where Lifetime didn't like that, because then I wasn't supporting their brand. So when I make Facebook posts about like this amazing cool drink that I got while I was in Florida, they're like, well, that's not our protein powder.
It's my Facebook page.
Oh yeah, for the longest time they were trying to get me to sign a non-disclosure thing where I can't talk about them on Facebook.
That's a really common theme with you.
Yeah, second one.
Yeah.
So like shortly after that, I bounced and I went to my first private gym, and then that's where like I was like, holy shit, I can really make some money doing this.
Yeah,
because I was around other entrepreneurs, and that's kind of where like the real entrepreneur side started to kick out, is because I saw my training at Lifetime, because the Lifetime I was at, there was a lot of high-end executives there and a lot of guys that just got to train whenever they wanted because they had sold their businesses a couple times over. So I got to like rub shoulders with these guys. And then once I left and went to that private gym, there was even more of them. Super private gym over in Plano. It's called Willow Bend Fitness Club. Super high-end clients. So I got to listen to like the way that they do business and like the things that they own or the things that they sold, the real estate or like commercial or storage facilities. I started like hearing all these things and then meeting up with them for lunch and becoming friends with them.
Good for you.
Yeah. And then
actively networking.
Yeah. I mean, like
leaning into maybe finding a business mentor in there somewhere.
I've asked that thing from so many different men throughout my life, like and then mostly with people is you're like, oh, he's human too. He doesn't live up to the expectation that I had of him.
Sure.
Yeah. So,
but what did you notice? You're rubbing shoulders with guys who are making way more money than you and are way more successful than you in terms of the keep score. Mm-hmm. You know, they got more possessions, more this, more that. What did you notice though about their personal habits by seeing them in the gym that set them apart?
So I tried to pick out like, because I knew if I couldn't do their full thing, I could pick out one thing that I could do really well, or like what is one aspect that like I could immediately take from them and put into my DNA. And so like I started like kind of doing that with different guys. Like, well, when they have a meeting, where are you having the meeting at? Or like, what are you talking about? Or like, how do you initiate the conversation? So like I would always like role play with them. It's like, hey, you know, if you have this going on, how would you do this? Or if you wanted to get in this business, what would you do?
Gotcha.
Yeah. So and then a lot of them just became like really cool and friendly with me.
Yeah.
Like one of them, his parents owned gas meter gauges.
Okay.
And they're international. And now I think he's third generation like owner in it. And we became really good friends. I mean, we go to dinner and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we don't even train anymore. And I trained him for like 7 years, and like we've still been friends. I haven't trained in 5 years now, and we're still close friends. So.
What about their workout habits and their get up early habits and their nutrition habits though? Because there are guys who they will say like, I go to the gym and what my body looks like after I train is just a byproduct of the fact that I just conquered my mind again, right? My mind said stay in bed. My mind said eat that ice cream. My mind said that, and I said no. I got a lot to win by putting in the hard yards here. Did you notice a direct correlation between massive success and good personal habits, or are some of those guys mailing that in?
A lot of them mail it in.
Yeah.
Straight up. And especially the guys that it's all about comfort. And you already know that.
Yep.
You're never going to change or succeed anything more or do anything in the comfort zone. The blood pressure stays the same.
Well, and if it's working,
why am I going to change it?
Right. A lot of times,
why would I do that?
The catalyst for change is discomfort, usually, right? Like people who are really out of shape they have a heart attack and they got to get in shape or they're going to die, or they're drinking too much and their liver's failing and they got to quit drinking or they're going to die. If you're a highly successful entrepreneur or executive and what you're doing is working, then why change it maybe?
A lot of them were doing it, like they needed it, and a lot of them did it because like they knew that it was their daily habit that they needed to have. One of the guys that I had for, how long did I have Bill? Almost 7 years, I think 5 years for sure. He runs and owns Fish City Grill here in town. Ah, okay. Yeah, amazing restaurant.
Yeah, it is.
And shout out Bill.
A good shout out.
Shout outs.
What's up, Bill?
But he was like, at the time, he'd never trained ever.
Gotcha.
He is a very by the numbers, very meticulous, very analytical, very smart, driven guy. And he, for me as the trainer, I'm like, I can't just start beating on him. I've got to make sure that he's safe the whole time. This is a brand new baby deer, and so. So we had a lot of fun training. I mean, he got really strong fast, and he got a lot of gains quick. And there was this one point through our training career where he was just like, dude, like I want to get like really, really strong. And he's like in his late 50s, and I'm like, dude, let's fucking do it.
He wanted to get jacked.
Yeah, like, I want to do 225 straight. I was like, dude, let's do it.
Let's go.
So
eat your bacon, Bill.
But here's the thing. I had been telling him for years, and I tell everybody that I worked with at the time, I'm like, dude, I want you to go do some fucking blood work. Because I don't want you to spend all this money, and the whole issue is the home front, Yeah. And so we caught some things, and we changed up his nutrition, and then dude, his energy went up, and a couple of his ladies from his company also worked out of the gym, and they'd be like, dude, he's better in the meetings. He's a better leader. And so there's certain things that you get out of these workouts just because it's early. I mean, I remember he was going through these leadership classes when we were training, and he was rattling off a lot of it to me, which was awesome.
No doubt.
And he's like, people's most creative hours of the day is between 6 and 9 a.m.
Yeah, people don't realize that.
Yeah. And so if you can supercharge your brain, and we worked out at 7, and he hated it because he wanted to work out at 6 because it put him back a little hour. So, but he's spot on. I mean, when I'm driving to the gym, my brain is more alive than ever, just because of the pre-workout and the cocaine a little bit in there too.
Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah.
And the meth.
I only like it because of the way it smells.
Yeah. And you can do it and still be a gentleman.
Yeah.
Which is
that's
admirable.
Most creative time is I'm rattling off 1,000 different things in my head. Usually after I work out, I'll come home and me and my wife and the dogs will go walk, and my wife knows that I'm thinking about 1,000. She's like, how many things are you thinking about right now? It's 1,000 different businesses.
All the things. Yeah. Every business concept known to man or unknown to man.
I have a giant whiteboard in one room for that.
There you go.
Straight up for that.
I've got a couple whiteboards. I need to mount one on the wall.
Do you want to know a cheap life hack?
I
on the
would
whiteboard?
yes.
$11.
Okay.
From Lowe's It's the 8x4 board that comes as the whiteboard.
Okay.
But it's just that thin piece.
Just the
plastic?
Whiteboard.
It's just the whiteboard piece.
It's like polycarbonate?
Yeah, it's like
masonite. Screw that to the wall?
Yeah, that's it.
Really?
$11.
Wow, I feel ripped off because
they're
Staples,
like hundreds of dollars.
Well, you got to be careful. Staples, you can get them for $40, and they have the metal border and the tray. But if you go to like Office Depot, they're like, no, this one's 3x6. But the Office Depot, same size, $148.
Yeah.
I was
the
guy brought it out on a rolling dolly. $148. I was like, no, man, I just bought one because I went back to get a second one. I was like, no, dude, something's wrong. I'm in the wrong place, bro. I looked it up. I was like, oh, it was Staples. Yeah. Wow, that's an awesome.
Yep.
I'm gonna do a how-to life hack video with you about
That'd be awesome.
When we come to your shop and we do.
That'll be
sick. Sekou and I are gonna shoot a bunch of
sick.
Yeah, with awesome cars.
Yep.
Because that's what millennials like to see.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we got to give the people what they want, man.
Right.
Well, that's awesome. You're training these guys. You're doing your own deal. You're also learning from guys.
Yeah.
Which, right? Don't you see a lot of people who are stuck in life, but they never ask,
man,
someone for like.
It got scary.
Hey, man, can I buy you a coffee?
Right.
And then, well, I'm really busy this week. Okay, what about next Monday?
Yep.
Right, like I have people reach out to me. Hey, can I get with you? Sure, man, hit me up.
Yep.
Never hear from them.
Right.
You know, you got to take like initiative and be
Absolutely.
intentional about your life. So you're chasing these guys down and getting
all the time.
Yeah.
And some of them are really cool. And like, I went to church with a couple of them. And like, when I say I'm committed to doing something, like I'm in it until the wheels fucking fall off, or like I figure out like, damn, this guy is like really doesn't have it all. He's lying.
Yeah.
To me. That kind of thing.
Smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. And so, I've yet to kind of find the one that I'm like, damn, I fucked up, and like he's my mentor. I'm yet to kind of find that guy because, I'll be honest.
Still looking for somebody who's.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you're out there.
Well, my dad always says when you meet someone, they're always going to have weaknesses.
Yep.
And then obviously something attracted you to that person was probably their strengths. So take from them their strengths and leave to them their weaknesses, because everyone does. And if you get to know enough people, we're all flawed, especially men, man.
We all got some kind of trauma too.
I'm sure there's some skeleton in Anthony Robbins' closet that. He got called out, right? Like a year ago, but it kind of just
washed out.
Yeah, like it went right off him like Teflon. Yeah. Did you see while you were doing the training? Did you have designs on making that something where if I could put together maybe some private equity or something like that, I could get my own gym, run my own team of trainers, have kind of was that something you thought about?
So I was saying, like I kind of figured out the timeline of my life, and like watching other people and seeing how business kind of worked and people's habits, and I was really watching my own. So one of the really successful guys over at the gym, he had 2 other trainers underneath him. So I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good business model. Like he'll train 12 to 15 people a day. He's making $1,000 a day off his training. And then those other people got to pay him also, because those are also his clients too. So I could probably do something like that. So like I tried to start, and then like I'm like, if I can't find a trainer, maybe I can find other people within my same business that we can share. And I was like, okay, massage therapist. So I find this really bomb massage therapist, like one that like knows the anatomy. Because like there's a lot of like being a rugby player, like you'll be getting worked on. I'm like, hey, what muscle is that? And they're like, like I wanted somebody that knew what the fuck we were talking about when we're talking,
Yeah.
And so I found this lady, amazing. Gail is freaking incredible. And I started sending clients to her, so she started referring clients to me.
Awesome.
So I'm getting this feedback. And I'm like, sweet. So what else can I do it in? And at the time, I'm like all into cars, because everybody at that gym had a badass car, and I had a badass CTSV. So the shop that I did all my mechanic stuff with, I started referring people, my personal training clients, over to them. And then they would refer personal training clients to me. I'm like, dude, I can do this network thing. And then that's where I was like, I want to be the connect the dots guy. If I can't be the guy that's making the thousands of dollars every single day, but if I can connect the dots for other people and I get to go do that shit for free, that's a fucking win in my book.
Definitely.
So like that's where I was like, literally, I want to be the plug.
Yeah.
Like on my Facebook, I'm like the car plug.
Car plug.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And I mean, so that's kind of the way I like try to just start doing everything else. It's like, who can I network? Who can I find that knows me or knows this person that I want to meet? What can they say for me to get with them? And so, dude, that's how the detailing business started.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, and effective networking is not, hey, man, where are my referrals?
Right.
It's, hey, what's up, man? I got 10 referrals for you.
Yep.
Right?
Or like, hey, I'm bringing you this. Because, I mean, like, I'm always the one that's going to, like, I'm going to try to bring you something.
Absolutely.
Like,
givers gain.
Yeah, absolutely.
How could I ever expect that you would send someone to me if I never send anyone to you?
No.
Like, I'm going to be out there. I'm hunting. I'm meeting people all the time. I'm active.
Yeah.
I'm going to send people to you.
Yeah. I mean, there was a point a couple of months back that I was like, you know, there's those moments in the day where you can kind of get back away from you can, like, almost take an out of body and you're like, whoa, we're having a fucking bomb day today.
Yeah.
You know? Or like
you get little
can kind of see, you can. And I was kind of looking at my books. I'm like looking at my QuickBooks. I'm looking at the calendar, and I'm looking kind of like, where are all the cars at for the week? And I had 2 cars over at a powder coating company that they're making money off of me. I had a car over at a mechanic shop. They're making money off of me. And I'm like, dude, we're all good. You know, this is fucking cool.
Yeah.
You know, this is fun.
That's a really cool feeling, right?
Yeah.
When you start to really develop synergy that actually compounds. It's
and
happening,
it does it
and it goes
quickly,
over
too.
and over and over again, and everybody's ship starts to, you know, that high tide raises all ships. You start seeing that. There's an addictive property to that.
Oh yeah.
When you are directly responsible for someone else's financial success. Is that one of the things that you like about entrepreneurship?
I like, not really, I wouldn't say the control aspect of it. I like the, well, you said it really good the other night, the art aspect of it. I like the creative aspect of it. Because me being an ADD kid, like the way that my brain works, like it's like so outside of the box. So like when I'm thinking about something, I'm thinking about it at different angles. And I mean, so for my business, it leaves, like, I have complete creativity every single day about how I want to approach either a client or, like, how I'm going to set up this sale, or, like, is this going to be a one-time sale, or are we about to do a relationship thing? This is about to be huge. Yeah. You know, because, like, one of the things that I learned a lot from Les Brown and a lot of, like, the motivational speakers that I listened to was how to, like, manifest stuff. Have you ever listened to or you ever read the book, The Secret?
Yeah.
So my sophomore...
They made a movie about that.
My sophomore and junior year of college, I read that book cover to cover, and I listened to it every day on the audio when we were on the road. My junior year, I had broken 2 vertebrae in my back.
Damn.
And I was still pitching. I went 9-1 that season. My only loss was to the national champions.
Were you just putting that pain in the cookie jar? Or?
Oh, dude, like every pitch. And it was, and
that's
it was so cool because, like, literally every night before the games, I would, like, visualize the game. And, like, so when I was there, it felt like it was slowed down. Like, I wasn't as amped up, but I was super amped. But, like, I've already done this. And, like, I started doing that more and more, and I do it now even more so in my business. Not for, like, the actual job that I've got to go do, but, like, try to think about how much money can I generate out of my head this week. And a lot of the times I'm like, I'll think of a number, and I'll be like, damn, I hit that number. That I'm thinking literally too small. And I've heard other entrepreneurs say that same thing. They'll build a business, and they're like, damn, we thought too small.
Yeah, man, that happens a lot. Actually, I think if you talk to a lot of successful guys, they'll all say, like, I had a plan for it to be this, and if I would have done a few things differently at the beginning, it would have been live and learn. Yeah. Right? If you're an entrepreneur and a serial entrepreneur, you're going to start
always
something
learning.
else, and you're going to go, oh, okay, what I did there, I'm going to do it a little different here, and it's going to flourish or just blow up like it didn't previously. What have your business failings taught you about how to do business, and how have they helped you start to get where you are going now, and helped you kind of pour some fuel on your fire and get that thing rolling?
So I think I really figured out, or I really was subject to business when I started at Lifetime, because at the time I'm like, I've never ran my own business besides like the washing, but that's like, putting money in your pocket. You're not tracking it.
Yeah.
So now I got to track it.
Did you even have to pay your parents back for the equipment?
No.
Yeah.
No. So, and my dad's still giving me gas money. So it's like,
My dad bought me a mower, and then I had to take money out of every lawn and a snowblower till it was paid back. And then I had to put money in the maintenance
Smart man.
fund. Yeah, dude. Hardcore.
Yeah.
Finance major. Yep.
Oh, yep.
Super smart. Crazy. I'd be like, oh, this is real business, not fake numbers. This is P&L, bro.
Yep.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're good.
But yeah, so you're blazing forward. You're making things happen now. But everything that's happened to you in the past, especially the stuff your corporate America experience and all of that, is helping you get and build, incrementally. Where it's probably, maybe this isn't happening, but it probably is. It's starting to happen faster and faster and faster.
Well, all the adversity that I had with school, baseball, and when I started in the business stuff, I'm like, yeah, this is stressful, but it's not as bad as that. Like, I mean, during all this, I'm like contemplating suicide as a kid, and like,
Wow, did you really?
Oh yeah, a lot.
Wow,
a lot.
Really?
I'm talking about like before I was 12.
Yeah.
Like I was in a dark spot for a long time.
Wow.
And so like when I would have business trouble, I would kind of turn all that, because there'd be like times, like even now, like when I've had a shitty day, like the following day, I'm going to bring that shit into the following day, but I'm going to use that energy in a certain way. Like I might not have the smile on my face, but I'm about to destroy whatever activities we have for the day. And then at the end, I'll be good. But I need to work that out in a certain way. So I kind of got to do that, and seeing, I had always had this trouble with sales at the corporate level. Like I would get to this magical number of $10,000 in sales. And when you're at Lifetime, if you can hit this 10 grand mark, that means you can work 3 days a week. You don't have to work Saturday. And you have to have a running 3-month trailing average of that, and you can keep the 3 days a week. So there was a long period of time, I was like 8 months of like hitting this number, and then 1 month it drops off, and like I'm back in there 5 days a week, and I'm like, shit, I don't like not having the control of that. Being able to wake up every day and be able to do what I want. I'm like, I want to go do this, and that's where I went out on my own so fast. But I had struggled a lot with the sales, because I was always asking for help. I'm like, hey, I need more material, and it wasn't I didn't need more material. I needed to change me. And I think that's what a lot of people have trouble with. It's like, it's my fucking boss's fault, or like, we don't have the right marketing material, or like, they're not helping me enough. Like, no, it's just like, you're not asking the question in the right way, or like, you're not looking at it in a different way. And like, I wasn't doing anything to really improve me as a sales professional. I was doing everything right to learn how to sell you on the lingo and like exercise physiology, and be able to name off all the exercises and everything, and have the nutrition plan for you. But like, I couldn't do the sales part because I couldn't figure out the psychology yet. And the psychology part is, for me now, is easy. All I got to tell you is me. You're going to do business because of me. Not you're buying me. I'm selling you an invisible product. Same thing in personal training. I'm giving you a false sense of hope, that you're going to look like this.
Right.
So
what do you do? What's one thing that a young kid watching this who's in sales could take away? One hack. What's something you do when you're trying to sell? This is what I do. I have noticed that when I'm trying to sell someone, if I do 10% of the talking and 90% listening during the conversation, that whether or not they realize it right then, that person leaves that interchange and they like me, because people love to be heard. And we're just being inundated all the time with read this, look at that, read that. So talk 10%, listen 90% is kind of my thing. That's what I tell my guys. What's something that you found to be a way to earn that like from a prospect?
Number one, be yourself 100% of the time. Because people can spot like the fake bully shit or like
a heartbeat.
Your cell phone voice. You know, like girls are really bad at that. You know what I'm talking about. But like just be real and be honest and don't bullshit. And like a lot of my clients, like if you were to come over and I'm going to you want to do something with your truck, I'm going to educate you on what you should do, not try to push you down a path of like trying to get an $1,800 sale out of you when like that's not what you need. You know, like, so a lot of what I tell people is like, just educate them on what they want first, find out what they want, how do they take care of it, or what's their maintenance like we can role play. Like if you're coming over and you drive a black truck, it's brand new. Well, how are you going to take care of that black truck? Well, Trevor, I'm probably not going to hand wash it all that much, and I'm probably going to machine wash it. Well, I'm probably not going to tell you to do a paint correction because you're just going to fuck it up. So I'd probably push you down another path of doing something different. But like if you're coming over there hot-headed and you want to do a ceramic, I could have sold you on that and educated you on it, but that's not the proper thing for you. So like looking out for the best interests of the client and educating them properly. And then, dude, they will tell. Like I have more successful stories of like helping people that I didn't even take money from, and they will tell 10 other people. And then the one guy, the Lamborghini guy that you gave a discount to, he doesn't tell anybody.
No.
I mean, that's the way I've built my business. It's like, dude, tell them the truth, tell them what they need, and if they don't need it, they can do it better than me, you know, or
so
whatever.
Hit them with the truth, be transparent,
100% for
and
sure.
then treat the client like more than just a dollar sign.
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna do business, I want to be friends with you.
Yeah,
you know, like if you're trying to win a girl over at the bar, or you know, like treat it like a date. You know, like. That's the way I'm trying to win you over in this next 45 minutes. Not, you know, that's what it's really all about.
No doubt. Talk about the energy that you bring every day, to the field. Yeah. Which for us now that sports is over is work. Yeah. Right. So, got to bring that juice, man. Because if you don't, people can spot that really fast as well, and they can tell so fast when you just don't give a fuck. Yep. Tell my guys all the time, man. Like. Your body, you better snap that body language, and you better make eye contact, and they better feel that you're carrying the fire, or you're just like everyone else.
Especially like with the cars that we mess with now, it's like, dude, you got to be on point all throughout the day. Like I can't have you on your phone and you're walking around a $400,000 car and you hit the stool and the stool hits the fucking car. Like, you know, I need you on point. And like. I've over the last 3 years, I bet I've had like 15 to 20 people work for me, and you'll figure out because I make them do sweat equity first. Come spend a day or two with me, or a week, if you really want to work for me. Spend a week with me without getting paid, and I want to see if you can work every single day. Because what'll happen is, the first day. They'll kick ass. They'll ask so many damn questions. They're all about it. You know, they're all about it. And we just did a 12-hour day. Can you do another 12-hour day? Can you do another 12-hour day? Can you do another 12-hour day? And then as this last day, we might pull a 20-hour day because dumb fuck isn't ready over here. You know, like that's what I want to see. And the only kid that I've got two that have only cut the mustard. This kid named Bryce that I've got with me right now. He's 19. He's a fucking rock star. And this guy Mason that I've
don't let him hear you say that, or it'll change.
This will be later.
Yeah.
But Mason, he's 21 or 22, and he's worked with me for like the last 2 years.
Talk about building teams. You talked about Coach Oliver, who like held you to a standard, right, and told you things that made you bristle, that you didn't like. Why are you late? What are you doing? Where are you at? When you're building a team, how much of your experience from coaches and then things that you've seen from other highly successful people are you bringing into trying to form? Because finding good people is not easy, man.
Yeah, and coaching people is not easy too, because a lot of people don't want to be coachable.
Yeah.
So I used a lot of those same things that like I think I'm more of like a player's coach. You know, like the ones that you could talk to on the sideline, bullshit with, and all that kind of stuff. Kind of the friendly one. But I catch myself a lot being the leader and the boss of like, I'm really way too nice. And I'll let people run over me a lot. And that's where a lot of the business relationships have ended, because I let it go on for so long. The Mike situation, I knew I knew I was overpaying, and I let that shit go on because I was too fucking busy. I didn't want to deal with it. Same thing that happens with men and relationships with other men and business partners. Well, fuck, he owes me this money. Oh, I don't have time to go get it. I'll just wait about it later. And then it just dwells on you, and then something pops up and you blow up on him. You know, it's just like we're bad at communicating. So, like, I know that about myself, and I know that about other guys. And, like, I know that, you know, that's a major thing in me being married. That's a major thing in relationships, is, like, the communication has to be there. And the only reason why, if I am not a good leader, is because I am not effectively telling my 19 or 20-year-old what job they needs to be done, what's the expectation on, and how does it need to be done. So a lot of the time I'm like, well, fuck, I should be mad at myself. So that's what I do a lot of, is like self-evaluation after we've had like a bad day, or if like Bryce had a bad day on a car, I'm like, well, did I tell him enough? Did I tell him exactly what I wanted him to do? You know, like, so a lot of it, you have to take, Jocko, complete ownership of it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Extreme ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. When you're the quarterback, man, if we win, it's the team. If we lose, it's on me.
Yep.
Do you believe that the best leaders pull or push?
I've always been, I don't know. I mean, like when in baseball, I was always the most vocal one.
Yeah.
And I'm the one out front.
Leading from the front.
Yeah.
Pulling. Me too.
Yeah, like, you're sucking ass today? Cool. Fucking hop on. You know, like, I'll pull your ass. Like, yeah, I think that, and I'm more of a forceful leader. Like, I'm not going to wait on you to do it. Yeah, we just had this meeting that you said that you're going to do that, but as soon as we walk out the door, I'm going to probably do it. And then if you haven't gotten started on it, you can have my work. You know, like, that type of thing.
Absolutely. What do you fear as an entrepreneur, as a person?
Not change.
Just being in the same place you are right now in 5 years?
Yeah. Because, like, this is going to sound super conceited and selfish, but, like, I truly believe that, like, God has anointed me in certain aspects of my life for the certain things that I've been through and the people that I can influence, because I'm highly influential to certain people. And I'm supposed to do something. And I know it's not detailing. And I know it's like one of my best clients that I had in personal training, he's like multimillionaire, and he'll check on me every now and then. He's like, "You're still doing the detail thing, huh?" And he kind of put me in check one day, and I was like, "Yeah, you know, I'm doing really well." And he's like, "Yeah, I just thought you would do something more." I'm like, "Well, fuck me."
Yeah,
you know, it's just like, damn, bro.
That's a true that's a true mentor,
that's a true friend too,
right there.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Challenging you to maybe get out of your comfort zone.
Yep.
To not stay where you are now, do you actively do goal setting? And if you do, are you setting 10-year, 5-year, 1-year weekly, or how's that work for you? Because I know everyone's process is different.
So when I was at Lifetime, we had these monthly goals that, you know, we had projections and what we're going to hit and everything like that. And then what do you think you're going to hit in 3 months based off your numbers and all that stuff? That shit would not freak me out, but it would make me extremely anxious because I'm very goal driven. So if I've picked a number that month to hit, I will stop at nothing to try to make that number hit. So like if I'm making 1,000 phone calls in a week, you know, like I'm going to go do that. So it would get me like super ramped up. I would constantly be thinking about it at night. Like, damn, like I'm only $3,500 in and we're 10 days into the month. Shit. You know, like I would start thinking of it that way. So setting a monthly goal like that in that arena didn't do well for me. So now in this, the way that I do this, because in personal training, you can only do so much in a day. So like, you know, at one point I think I had 33 clients and I was making $85 an hour. So I'm fucking killing it. But I could only make so much money in a day. And then by Thursday or Friday, I don't even want to see you, not unless count to 15 for you, you know, like, so when I saw that business like that, I'm like, dude, I can't make more than X. and I can't make X unless I work this amount of days. I'm like, this is stupid. And then I really started to see with other trainers in that world. Like I remember I asked, because one of the most successful guys there, he grew up with Larry North.
Oh, wow.
So he's been training for like 30 plus years. And I asked him one day, I was like, we're in the lunchroom, and I asked him, I was like, how come you've never gotten into like real estate with some of your guys? He's like, all I ever wanted to do was train. And I'm like, literally, and this is like literally 2 weeks before I left that gym, and I was just like,
don't want that to be me. Yeah.
Whoa. I'm like, whoa, dude. Like, you're cool with making 80 grand a year? Like, you're not hungry for more than that? You know, like,
yeah.
And going back to the God thing about me is like, I want to know what, you know, where's the limit? And I've never hit it, you know, like, because I've always been in my own way, like I told you the other night.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I think if I ever got in line with him and I ever got out of my own way, there's absolutely nothing that I can't set in front of me, or whatever I want to achieve, I can't go get it.
Well, you know, I mean, the scripture says to whom much is given, much is required. And a lot of times maybe the bigger things don't come till, you know, you've proven that you can.
Oh yeah.
That you can consistently knock it down at a lesser level.
For sure.
But I think sometimes the universe, man, it tests you too. Like if you put it out there that this is what I want in life.
Yep.
The
We'll go
universe
see how much
goes,
you want it.
Huh. All right. Let's see what you got here.
Yeah.
I want to put this in front of you, and I'm gonna roll this boulder down the hill at you, and I'm gonna do
how much grit you got.
Yeah, man. That's like my favorite. Ever seen that TED Talk about grit?
Yeah.
I mean, what's her name? Angela Duckworth, something or other. Man,
wasn't it on Andy Frisella's?
Did he talk
he
about it? He
talks a lot about grit.
Yeah, he does.
Like, his program.
She studied it, man. I'll send it to you. But grit is passion plus, I don't know, consistency maybe. You can be the smartest. You could be the fastest, strongest, best looking. I'll take somebody with grit all day long over you.
Because they'll outwork you.
Absolutely.
Like I was saying this the other day with like the reason why Bryce is where he is and why I've never fought. I mean, like he's been late, and like I have a 3-strike rule. Like I don't fucking play past that. And I'm like Thanos. Like when I'm done with you, like literally you are vapor. Like I don't want even. You might as well have just died and been in the obituary.
Thanos.
Yeah. Like, but you know, that's why I've kept Bryce around, is because he's got that. He's got. I mean, I will put up with he's 19. I know he's fucking learning. You know, I will put up with, you know, the mishaps and the small things because, dude, he's got what the other kids don't. When it's 107, we've got to do 9 cars back to back, and he ain't bitching, and we haven't even looked at each other. That's the dude right there.
Yeah,
that's the dude.
The toughest thing for a lot of entrepreneurs is striking a balance in life. Mm-hmm. Right. So you talked about sometimes. Balance. Yeah, it is. You talked about some. It is funny. I believe Socrates says when we think that we've achieved balance on our own, that we're pretending deity. So we're pretending to be God. If we think, ooh, look at me,
I've controlled.
I did all of this, and I'm in complete balance. You said you come home from your morning routine, then you go on a walk with your wife. Your brain's going. I mean, I'm the same way. How do you strike a balance? What do you do in your off time? What do you do that's still productive and that's still healthy for you, but that helps get your mind away from work? Because that balance thing, it's very difficult for me. I like to ask everybody about that.
So really, the training in the morning helps me with that. The big thing for me is other car guys will attest to this, is like just being able to like get in the car, like that is my escape zone. And we could have covered like 300 miles that day driving all over Dallas, but like if I can get in I have like a built up Corvettes in the shop, right? But when I get to go drive that thing, or like even when I get to go drive the clients' cars, I'm like, it's like pure escape for me.
Cool.
You know, like. So that's kind of the cool part of it.
That's cool. Are you a big reader?
So growing up, I didn't even learn to read till like 6th grade.
Right.
But the other night when I was telling you about when I did 75 hard, dude, I read 7 books. Like I can't even tell you when we remember AR points when you had to do accelerated reading.
Absolutely.
I didn't read that shit. That was book on tape, man.
Do you remember Book It, or am I that much older than you? Pizza Hut used to do this thing called Book It, and you would have to set a monthly book reading goal.
No
and if you
way.
met that, you got a free personal pan pizza.
They should bring that shit back.
I totally
Straight
agree.
up.
I actually don't understand why they don't, especially with all these kids having to learn from home and stuff.
Oh yeah,
like a little free pizza. Especially with social now. That would
blow up on social media.
This is way before social was even a glimmer in the eye.
We should talk to Tiff's Treats because they're good about that kind of
Tiff's shit. Or, man, who else? Yeah, somebody local. Somebody could blow that up.
Yeah, that would be cool.
For sure. Goal setting, reading, working out, trying to get away, trying to live that balanced life. But you're probably, if you're anything like me, during time off, my brain's always just rolling. I'm just always thinking of new things.
I can't be gone more than like 3 days because day 4 on vacation, I'm like work mode in my head. I'm like, fuck, is the money coming in the account? All I see is there's no deposits.
All I see is these dinners.
Yeah, I'm like, we need to get back to the deposits.
Yeah,
so I mean, like, I'm always thinking about something. Like, I mean, kind of a book that really opened my eyes during like when I was reading and doing 75 hard was Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill.
You bet.
Holy shit.
Absolutely.
God, like. I've never written more things down on a whiteboard from a board.
Really?
Or circled or highlighted, put things in it. I'm like, dude, that is literally the playbook. Literally, first 3 chapters I can remember, like, is literally the playbook how to become a millionaire. And like the way they go about it. And like the more that I like kind of broke down each chapter, I was seeing small things that, like, I mean, you do it too, set up small groups of mentors that you can bounce ideas off of, and like they key it as a certain term, but it's like mastermind groups,
right?
And Stuman does those.
He does.
But that shit works.
It
and
does.
Like, so that's what I get to do now with my detailing business, dude. I get to mess with all these billionaires and millionaires and like bounce ideas off of about just all different stuff, or things that I want to do in my personal business. I'll run it by them. Like, man, I'd probably do it this way.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
What are you asking them? Like, hey, I want a bigger facility, or I want to do this and that, and they'll give you a little perspective from a different angle.
Or like, hey, you should look up this guy. Because like my big goal with like my detailing business is I want to own storage facilities. Mm-hmm. I want to get into commercial real estate and get into the storage facilities. That's mailbox money.
Yeah, it is.
But I also want to be able to franchise my business along with my 2 other business partners in their business, where we're like this single entity that we can do commercial wrapping, we can do paint protection film, we can do all the detailing, and then if you have commercial fleets, we can facilitate all of that.
Awesome.
Because there is a couple of businesses that are all encompassing, but they're very rare. Very rare, and they're super, super expensive.
You do color conversion wraps too?
Yeah, pretty much everything. I mean, like, we can print up things like that are over 70 inches. So, I mean, like, box trucks, trains. Like, my business partner, Anthony, he does all the DART trains, buses, DFW Airport. So there's huge money in that stuff.
Yeah, no doubt. What is your follow-up process like with clients or prospects? I mean, are you one of those guys who's like, hey, take me or leave me, and if you're not impressed enough after our first meeting to come seek me back out, then I don't have time for you? Or are you tracking people down until you get a hard fuck no?
The very beginning of my business, when I'm trying to get into this high-end space, because like I didn't go into it thinking like that I'm going to do $40 washes again. Like, I literally went into it like I only want to fuck with the big dogs, and like I don't even want to negotiate price. That those are the people I want to mess with. And I was lucky enough that Jason Fan, like one of my really good friends and kind of a silent business mentor to me, is he runs a place over in Garland called JP Euro, and like he's a guy from nothing, created this really cool service station that, he was doing anything at the time, GMCs to Saab to Mercedes, whatever. And then I'm just going to get into the high end. And now all he does is Lamborghinis and McLarens. And like, I've gotten to see his process of how he's built his business, and all of his process is about customer service. And like, so I was like, how can I implement his customer service and Sewell's customer service? Because I had read Customers for Life. Have you ever read that book?
Yes.
Customers for Life? Amazing.
Yep.
So I started doing those same things with like my clients. So like when I very first started doing the detailing, I would seek out these other super high-end guys. I'm like, how do you get a hold of them? They're not going to hand out their cell phone to you. And they're like, you got to work through their network. So what I would do is I use the internet, man. Facebook and Instagram. I would find out what their name was by what car they went. Like if I want that car and I want to work on that car, I'll find out who the owner is. Okay, look him up on Facebook. Okay, he's friends with Paul. I'm really tight with Paul. I'll hit up Paul. Hey, Paul, can you put me in touch with Matt? Yeah, I'll say some good stuff for you. Boom, I've got that connection. Hey, Matt, can I come over and take a look at your cars and tell you how I can take care of them? I'm already taking care of Paul, and I'm already taking care of Jason.
Nice.
And then so like I would do stuff like that, and then a lot of the times, man, like I would chase you down in the fucking road.
Yeah.
Like
follow you.
Yeah, like I found this one day I'm out driving, I just left the gym and I see this wide body Corvette. And I'm like, damn, that's a sick ass ride. So I drive up next to him. He like doesn't see me at the first light, so I follow him to the next one, pull down the window, and I'm like, dude, sick fucking car. And like we start talking, and I'm like, you have Facebook? And he ends up, he's an oil field guy, owns his own oil company.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, like if you go pursue these people, man, like, and if you do it in the right way.
Well, a lot of them love that hustle.
Oh,
man.
Yeah, dude.
Because that's what they
that's how they got in it.
Yeah, man. Hustle recognizes hustle. It's often said, and I think it's super true, that people will always forget what you say. They will then forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Obviously, what you do, whether it's the training business or the detailing business, you're talking about messing with someone's body or something that means more to some people than their body, their baby, their car. How is making that client feel a certain way? How do you do that? And how important is that to your sustainability and your long-term success?
That's probably where my business differs from all the other detailers, and it's because of the goes back to the exact same thing, the Sewell way and Jason Fan JP Euro way. So the way Jason is like, if you've got a car and it comes in, as soon as it gets there, he takes a picture of it when it arrives, takes a picture of it when it's been detailed, takes a picture of it when it's being serviced. Like literally you are there when you're not there. So like and it's all about trust. You know that. I mean, like the bigger the dollar figure climbs, the more it's like you've got to sell you that I'm taking care of this. My hands are all in it. So like, if I can make that happen for you, then everything else is easy. So as long as I'm transparent through the whole way of like, hey, this is the way the car is going, and they love that because they're a part of the process. It's not that I'm handing over $2,400 and my car keys and I get to go pick it up in 2 days. Because I went through that when I was trying to build my car. Like I'm going to go hand you $25,000 and I don't get to see any of the car for 2 weeks, and then I have to just pick it up.
And then I'm going to trust that
everything was done right. You ordered all the right stuff. Like this is all the stuff that I wanted you put in there. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so like to a car guy, when you send them all that stuff, they're like, holy shit, dude, you're really working on it. Yeah, dude, I just spent 12 hours on your paint. This is why. Yeah. This is all the shit I found, and like, they're like, dude, they will speak volumes upon you. And they love that because then they get to share all that, which is also really cool in this day and age. Is like, if I tag, let's say that we did a car, like we're going to work on your truck, but I've got to get it repainted over at Jason's place. I've tagged you on Facebook and Jason. Now I've got 2 different types of eyeballs compared to the ones that are just seeing mine.
You bet.
So, dude, it just spreads like wildfire sometimes. Like, depending on the car, who the client is, who they know. I mean, like, it's nuts.
How much do you use social media to broaden your audience and to continue to hone your audience to be, always looking to you for the service you're providing? Because, we do business with people who we know, like, and trust.
The scary thing for me, and is eventually I want to get off of it, is Facebook. I want off Facebook so damn bad because it's so terrible. We talked about this the other night.
Yeah.
But, dude, that's where all my business comes from. I've been on social media. I was like an early adapter. I mean, dude, I've been on there since 2005 on Facebook. And then I had a Zanga, and I had all the other platforms before. So I've been on there forever. But, like, that's where all my – I mean, I've got to delete people every day because, I don't have enough followers. I mean, because I've got to let other –
too many friends.
Yeah. But that's where all my business comes from. I post literally every car, the breakdown of it. I'll do live videos sometimes from like cool events and stuff, so they all know me from there. And then the Instagram side of it too, but mostly all there.
That's awesome. What is? I'm not a car guy. Mm-hmm. We talked about that the other night. I'm a diesel truck guy. Mm-hmm. All blue.
Cummins diesel.
Yeah, man. Duramax, bro.
Yeah.
Chevy. No Dodge. What is it about car guys that makes them different? Because they do tick different, man. And the you see car enthusiast, and that means something.
I don't know. I mean, like, I guess it kind of, for everybody, it starts off at a different point. For me, it started when I was a kid. Like, my dad had cool cars because he did really well in real estate. So, like, it was either like a really cool Lexus or a super fast Mercedes or something. I can remember it vividly because they make fun of me about it all the time. It's like, remember when all the Batman movies were out? They hit the fucking Batman button.
Right.
Boom, fire and all that shit. So my dad had this sick GS 350 Lexus. And it had just like, it was like a traction control button. But he'd tell me it was the Batman button. So, like, when he'd hit it, he'd awesome. Floor it. I'm like, oh, my God. They always make fun of me about that. But, like, we'd go drive around that car. He'd put me in his lap. I'd get to drive it. We'd go to, like, all the Corvette dealerships. So, like, dude, my dad was trying to sucker me into buying. My very first car was going to be a Corvette when I was 16.
Wow.
So, like, going out and driving one when I'm 15 and, like, with all the school shit, like, my mom had a counselor that she had a Porsche 911. She'd come pick me up in school in it, and then my dad had a real estate buddy. He had a Z06 Corvette. He'd come pick me up in school in it. So I, like, always had these, like, car experiences. And one thing that, like, I did when I was little to, like, keep me kind of, like, on task on stuff is, like, my mom would get me all the Formula F1 magazines and car magazines. So I was always, like, tracing them, and I was really good at art when I was a kid. So, dude, I've been sucked in for cars. So, like,
You've been all in on cars for long. Have you ever thought about dealing, about selling high-end cars?
I do, yeah. Well, the funny thing is like, and I'm sure early on in your career too, like, you have those moments to, like, are you sure that you want to do this?
Right.
Because, like, at the time, like, when I was personal training, I'm doing, like, 80, 90 grand a year, and I'm, like, not even 30 yet. And then, like, and it's a lot of cash. And then, like, when I started to really get up there, I mean, like, one year I made 110,000 personal training. That's a lot for a trainer.
It's working hard, man.
Yeah, a lot of hours. And but I'm like, dude, I can't make anything more than this. I can't make anything different of the business. Like,
yeah, there's definitely a plateau, a point of diminishing returns.
Yeah, and
there's only 24 hours in a day.
And how long can I run the fucking gas at that, dude?
Right.
Like, I'm not going to do that when I'm 60. No way. So the car part was just like, I can't get off of them. I mean, I just can't get off of them.
Yeah. Well, maybe since you are such a good connector of people, at a certain point you'll start, hooking people up with deals and selling units and stuff too as part of your service. I mean, who knows? Well,
one of my clients, he had kind of put this thought in my head about a year ago when I was looking for a location, because I just got a shop like 5 months ago.
Yeah.
But I was actively looking for one. I was looking for some real estate property with this guy because he wants to do, he kind of wants to buy a shopping center, and then but have one aspect of the business like where he can do. Because he usually buys a car and he'll flip it every 6 months. He'll buy a nice Porsche, drive it for 1,000 miles, sell it 6 months later, go get another one. But he wanted to do like a small like dealership like that. And I'm like, dude, that's perfect. You buy the cars, I'll fix them up. We can fix them up for more. We'll sell them.
No doubt.
And so I think eventually that's going to be a part of my business, because like now I have a lot of collectors or like clients that they'll reach out to me, meet them at the dealership, look over the car. If it's not to the standard, we'll have the dealership do something for us, or whatever, and then like we'll take the car.
So that's part of your building value into that relationship with that client.
Yeah, I just did that literally yesterday and the day before with 2 Teslas.
Wow.
I was like, I'll meet you up there. We'll look over them. He's like, nope, there's bird shit on a brand new car, dude. That's got to no. Like, no. Yeah. I'm not leaving the dealership with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just want to help, man.
No doubt. What over the last 6-7 months have been like nothing we've ever experienced. What type of adversity has COVID brought to your doorstep in terms of business?
I'm so thankful that I'm not in personal training anymore when that happened, man.
Yeah.
It's some weird instance. I think that was like a good thing for me that I was really kind of rushed out of the door in the training world when I kind of got out. And when all the craziness of COVID happened, like I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, I don't care now this even gives us more of an aspect to clean shit, or like this opens up a whole new array of business stuff. Maybe if we don't mess with cars, now I can mess with houses. So like what I did, we weren't ceramic coating a ton of cars because everybody was worried, about getting out or having somebody come over. So I reached out to one of my really big clients, and she was building a new house for her parents, and I'm like, let me ceramic coat everything in the house. Explain
that.
So it's one really crafty thing that a lot of contractors will do on houses. They'll be like, yeah, let's seal your marble countertops.
Right.
And a lot of it's done with wax type products.
Yes.
Or polymers or whatever, sealants or silicants. And what ceramic coating is, literally it's silicone glass. So it's SiO2, which is also sand. So what it literally does, it makes a glass type layer on certain surfaces. Like, so porous surfaces, it goes into the pore and it fills it up. So like on a car, if you look at paint microscopically, it literally has all these valleys in it. And then, sediment, dirt, water, debris sets in those. So like when you run your hand over it, you can hear it. That's the stuff that's inside the pores of the paint. What we do is we clean out the pores. We remove all the swirls and the scratches from the surface, and then we put this like kind of like forever wax on it. It makes it look wet forever. Ceramic over it, and that kind of seals it all in. But you can also do it on stone, glass. They're making stuff for wood now. A ton of different aspects.
So what were you hitting? Her countertops, her tile floors?
So I did all of her backsplash.
Okay.
I did, they just bought all these stainless steel appliances, so I did all their stainless steel, all that, and their coffee makers, pretty much everything they were going to touch. Because what the cool thing about that stuff is like you can literally get water on a towel and then just wipe it off. It's like, because it literally will just hold on the top like a water bead, like on a waxed car.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
No doubt.
So I started doing that. So I did her house, and then like I got 2 or 3 other houses I did. And so like that was supplementing a little bit of the income that way. And then
adapt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I saw some really creative stuff on YouTube of these guys using steamers. I'm like, fuck, I can do that. So I made some videos on my Instagram and on my Facebook of like steam cleaning your doors and like their AC vents and like just telling people those little things. They're like, oh shit, like he's getting all the mold out of it.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Even if it's not, it's that aspect of that. Like,
for sure.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And so we were just doing stuff like that, and like we were still getting business. So it's like there was never a time that like it dropped off, like where it was like I didn't work, because we just found another way to do it.
That's awesome. Where do you want to be in 10 years?
Owning my own facility. We have a 3-year lease on the places that we're at right now, and kind of our goal over the next 3 years, we just bought our first commercial printer, and we've got some commercial accounts and stuff that we're working with. But pretty much if we can make that printer, if it's what we foresee is about 30 to 60 grand a month just off the printer, not even touching our businesses, that printer could literally generate the amount of money to like take our shops where we want to take them, take the business where we want to take it, and then either go buy a plot of land, or we can kind of design our master building, or then we can kind of start working with some different companies where we can start doing either I'm like a warehouse selling product through my detailing name, or maybe I'm franchised out where you can have a detail lab over at your place, and I'll set you up with everything you need.
Nice.
Like that kind of thing. That's where I see it. But what our goal is with our first full year of being in business together is $1 million.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are the difficulties when you're a young, hustling entrepreneur and you're married? What are those difficulties all about? How do you solve those, and how do you see your way through them and keep a good, vibrant, healthy relationship? So
my wife Lauren's amazing. Like she's a redhead, so she's extremely she's very driven in her own regard, and like she's very independent, like they all are. And so like we communicate like extremely well, and like we had a conversation. I remember when I left, like she was with me when I left the corporate wellness place, and she was with me when I pretty much just like left training in general. And I told her, I was like, I don't really know how this is going to play. Like I'll fucking work until I fall apart. But I was like, I really don't know how it's going to play out. And when we were together, when we first started together, like I didn't have any furniture.
Right.
You know, like she knows me from the bottom.
Yeah.
And so now like that we're here, she knows that like that I've got to put in the hours. And like we have those conversations some nights. It's like I'm still at the shop and it's 3 a.m. It's like, are you really getting anything done, or are you just fucking sitting there watching somebody else?
Yeah.
You know, it's just so as long as the communication's there, she knows where I want to take it, and she knows what I've been able to do in the small time that I've had it. But dude, you just gotta the constant communication between that, because there's a lot of trust there, you know.
You bet.
And you're gone long hours, you know, that kind of thing.
Sure.
There's a lot of shit that could go on.
When somebody who is watching this wants to reach out and connect with you and just chop it up with you, no pressure, obviously. Your style is to educate. How can they reach you on Instagram, and how can they email you?
So my favorite way to communicate with people is on Instagram.
All right.
I'm on my phone 24/7, so it's either at Trevor Stringer _ or it's the Detail Lab TX. And I'll talk to you any hour of the day. I'm on that phone. Like,
beautiful. Yes, you are.
All the time.
Very active.
Yeah.
Active 30 seconds ago. Yeah. We'll put that info at the bottom too, man. I really appreciate your time, man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, good
time.
Awesome. You're awesome, dude.
Yeah.
You're a superstar, man. That was legit. Trevor's an awesome guy. Brings that energy every time, which is just great. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Reach out to me anytime. On Instagram, it's at Jess from the Northwest. Drop a comment below. I'd love to know what you think about these podcasts. Love to know if you got questions or burning things you'd like me to ask a guest in the future. You can also email me if you'd like to work together live at autographconstruction.com. We'll see you next time.